Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert covering Disney's brand new woke disaster, the Marvels movie that's already failing in ticket sales, and it hasn't even come out yet. The pre-sales are really bad. It's way below even what we thought they'd be, and we knew they were going to be bad. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate you guys. Let's get into it. Oh, we've been waiting for this one for a long time. Ever since Captain Marvel came out, sandwiched in between movies she did not belong anywhere near, so they could introduce a female superhero. There's nothing wrong with introducing a female superhero, but everything, whether it's a female character or a male character or this race of a character or that race of a character, it has to be done for story, not for agenda. That's where Marvel started to go wrong, and she's really the first terrible example of pushing agenda instead of respecting your fans and developing a coherent, well-done story. Coming from Cosmic Book News, the Marvels box office estimated at $39 million. Ticket sales are in the gutter. Pre-sale tickets are said to be less than 1/3 of James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 from James Gunn did do well for Disney. It did make money. James Gunn does know what he's doing, and apparently they left him alone. Everyone else at Marvel is making a mess. Now, of course, James Gunn is over at Warner Brothers Discovery right now, redoing the entire DC universe. And DC Comics, Warner Brothers, is not being sold. That rumor is wrong. I'll do another video on it. Following tickets going on sale on Tuesday, it's claimed that the Marvel's tickets pre-sales are in the gutter and less than 1/3 of James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which could mean the flick may open to less than $39 million. Keep in mind, this is a movie that Disney has spent about $320 million making. Yes, they're getting some kind of a rebate from the United Kingdom, so they're going to get back a good chunk of that, maybe as much as 25% of it. Depends how much they actually did in the UK, but let's say they get back $50, $60 million. They still have a ton of money invested, and that's before they even spent $1 promoting it. And they're going to spend a lot of dollars promoting this, probably $100 to $150 million. Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy 3 actually opened soft, but due to good word of mouth, the flick had good legs and ended with a successful box office. Brie Larson, Iman Vellani, Teyonah Parris, and Nia DaCosta will need better legs, if that's at all possible. It's probably not. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 opened with a $118.4 million weekend compared with Volume 2's massive $146.5 million, which is due in part probably to the failure of the MCU since the release of Captain Marvel, as well as the fact that Volume 3 followed Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which was a complete bust and got terrible reviews. Even the special effects people thought were terrible. It just shows you how badly things are falling apart at Marvel. If the ticket sales hold true, the potential $39 million box office opening for the Marvels would be a complete disaster for Kevin Feige, as the first Captain Marvel opened to a whopping $153.4 million back in 2019, so the sequel at these numbers would be a decrease of nearly 75%. And there are no Avengers movies to help this Captain Marvel movie. Kevin Feige doesn't have 2 Avengers movies to sandwich the sequel between them. He also dropped Captain Marvel from the sequel titles, as well as the writing and directing team behind the first billion-dollar Captain Marvel movie. Imagine the respective titles for the Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, Ant-Man, Spider-Man, and Guardians sequels not using their main titles. Does that make any sense? Brie Larson has been dropped as a star. A new captain is on board. Feige also dropped Brie Larson as the star and brought in 2 other Marvels. Iman Vellani as Kamala Khan now stars in the Captain Marvel sequel, whose own Disney Plus show is the least watched MCU series and whose character has failed time and time again in the comics and the video games. It even got terrible ratings when they put it on ABC. Teyonah Parris has also been brought in as Captain Rambeau, and now you can imagine 2 captains in the Chris Evans Captain America movies. Does that make any sense? And the director, whose first project before this was just a Candyman remake, which they call a box office hit, but actually wasn't a box office hit. It didn't really do that well. But they figured, hey, let's just throw her on a multi-hundred-billion-dollar Marvel sequel and see how it goes. Don't forget, this director threw Kevin Feige under the bus in a recent interview where she didn't bother to say anything good about the Marvels, the movie she just directed, or the cast of the movie. Nia DaCosta said the movie isn't her movie, that it's Kevin Feige's movie. She also said she had all kinds of problems while filming and is done with Marvel, and of course was surprised by the white dudes that showed her respect on the set. That's another whole story. She did actually say in an interview she was surprised that white people were respecting her when she was working. Even the Redditors are upset. Per the norm, Redditors are upset, people on Reddit, the social media platform we like to look at sometimes, which has seen the moderator of r/box office respond in an attempt to calm them all down. Here's his response. I'm a moderator on our box office too. I knew a post like this would show up here eventually, so I want to clear some things up and provide additional context. Firstly, as you must know, it hasn't even been a day since pre-sales started, so he's trying to defend the horrendous pre-sales on the Marvels. Secondly, first-day pre-sales are an indicator for the opening weekend projection, but just because these pre-sales are slow doesn't mean the movie is gonna flop. That's why trades use several weeks worth of pre-sale data to make their opening weekend projections. Thirdly, some movies start hot off the gate when tickets go on sale, while others rely on word of mouth and walk-in business. Box Office Theory and r/box office had a meltdown when Guardians of the Galaxy 3 pre-sales were allegedly, quote, a disaster, and then turned out to be fine with close to $120 million in opening box office because of great word of mouth and walk-ins. Even the director is not giving good word of mouth on this movie. It's not gonna happen. On the other side of the spectrum, Taylor Swift's Eras Tour film had record-breaking pre-sales. You might have seen the headlines. That resulted in the trades almost guaranteeing a $100 million plus opening weekend domestically and even going as high as $125 million. However, based on ticket sales from this week, Box Office Theory is saying that despite huge pre-sales, it might not open to $100 million. So yeah, I wouldn't start panicking just yet. Trades and industry sources seem to believe that the SAG strike will likely be resolved by the end of the month, so the cast will be able to do a press tour, which will likely increase awareness and ticket sales. The Marvels will get released on November 10th. What is the problem with Disney and what is the problem with the Marvels? Well, this is really shocking. I came across this article in Hollywood Reporter, and it talks about how Marvel is going to be rebooting the production of its upcoming Daredevil TV series. I always loved Daredevil. Daredevil, to me, was a comic series I really cared about. I read it as a kid in the 1980s when Frank Miller was writing and drawing it. Absolutely loved it. It would be Daredevil and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that really inspired me to publish. This article is beyond belief for as messed up as Marvel seemed to be, and as much as we've done, of course, a number of videos saying, oh, it's woke, this is a disaster, they don't know what they're doing. But here they sincerely just actually don't know what they're doing, and they're realizing, hey, we can't just freestyle and start making a bunch of shows when we do our TV anymore because the product isn't coming out so good. Literally, that's what Kevin Feige realized after he'd seen the first couple of episodes of this new Daredevil series coming together. So they pretty much have to throw almost everything out, not everything, but almost everything out and start all over again. 18 episodes they were working on. This is from Gizmodo. Report Marvel finally realized why its TV shows aren't working. This is a big reason why their movies are so over budget, because they produce their movies this way. They think that's actually working, even though the results are terrible. And they figured, we'll just try to make a bunch of TV shows this way. And the end result is, when it came to Daredevil, which would have been their longest episode series yet, that was 18 episodes, it just completely fell apart. Here's what Marvel's been doing. For the past few years, Marvel's been applying its approach to films to television shows. And it's only now that they've realized it's not really working. The breaking point came, according to a Hollywood Reporter article, when Kevin Feige, the Marvel Studio president and the constant producer of everything at Marvel, watched the first few episodes of the new Daredevil show. According to the new report, Feige took a step back, quietly fired the 2 writers, and took Daredevil Born Again back to the drawing board with less than half of its planned 18 episodes already filmed. Finally, someone with the power to change something realized that the way Marvel does TV simply doesn't work. As another insider stated, quote, "TV is a writer-driven medium. Marvel is a Marvel-driven medium. Now, Marvel is moving away from the Marvel movie-fied version of television production, bringing on real showrunners, established television executives, and hopefully establishing procedures that mirror how real television works. Simply throwing money at a production is no guarantee it'll be any good at all. But maybe with this realization that TV has a way of working, and it's not how Marvel works, means that TV's Daredevil Born Again might have a chance of being a worthy successor to the Netflix show. Those Daredevil shows from Netflix were made for about $3 million each. The budget on these, God knows what it was, but no doubt it was at least $25 million each per show, like all the other Marvel shows on Disney+. But to think that they didn't use showrunners, when you're using an experienced showrunner, an established television executive, and having procedures that mirror how real television works in terms of structuring stories, you need to have that. These people are the guys that know how to make the content. You can't just say, well, you know what? We'll just treat it like a movie and see how it goes, especially when in the last couple of years, people haven't liked Marvel's movie. This new movie, The Marvels, is about to get what Disney deserves. Another disaster on their hands, another giant money loser that was the real destiny of Captain Marvel in the first place. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.